Somewhere right now, a person is sitting in a hospital chair with a needle in their arm and a drug is going into them which has been never allowed before. They are the first in all of history. Imagine the gravity of the decision the government has to take to allow that. Before that needle touches the arm of the patient, a company has to walk to the health authority and seek for permission. And they have to prove on paper that this molecule is safe enough to risk a human life. That request is the single biggest milestone in a drug journey. Everything before it was a preparation. Everything after it was depending on it. I've been the person compiling this request to US FDA. My molecule is a monoclonal antibody for a lung cancer, and the application was going to US FDA. I want to show you what was actually involved because this is the moment that drug stop being a science project and start being a medicine. Welcome back to channel. This is your host Jude Stephen, and I'm going to walk you through the phase 1 of the clinical trial today. Let's trace the journey of the drug molecule. In discovery, the drug molecule moved from computer to the lab. In non-clinical, from lab to animals. Today is the leap everything has been building towards, from animals to humans. And that leap is not casual. It is most controlled step in the entire industry and why the drug development is so costly and risky at the same time. The human stage clinical trial split into 3 phases. Phase 1, we also call it as safety trial. It is to prove whether the drug molecule is safe and what dose it is safe. In phase 2, how does it work? The early efficacy and dialing in the correct dose. In phase 3, we have to prove it. We have to prove it in a larger community and having a larger population. Only after all 3 do you file for a license to sell. We call that as marketing application. We'll come to that later. Today, we zoom all the way into the start, phase 1, and the application that unlocks it. To run the first human trial, you file what's generically called as clinical trial application, and the name changes by region. In US FDA, we call it as investigational new drug or IND. In EU or in European or in many other countries, we call it as clinical trial application, CTA. Though the different name, the idea is same. The idea is that I want to investigate a new drug in humans. Here's all the evidence that I have created and I feel it's safe enough to try it. As I was compiling the IND for a monoclonal antibody to treat the lung cancer, and I started looking at the empty structure of the document that needs to submit it to the FDA. I had a very basic question in my mind. How do we decide what to give it to FDA? And how do we organize them? That question is the reason the set of guidelines came into the existence. We call them as ICH guidelines, International Conference on Harmonization, where many major markets came together and created a set of guidelines that they will all use, and you will find it common across the market. One thing that surprised the outsiders, for a cancer drug, the phase 1 is actually not run on a healthy volunteers. You can't ethically give a toxic anti-cancerous drug to a healthy person. So an oncology phase 1 is done in actual cancer patients. Now before we submitted, the whole team was nervous because getting this wrong isn't just a science problem, it's a business problem. A rejection can shake investors' confidence, it can hit the stock, trigger hard questions from shareholders. This is a high stake moment. So we used one of FDA's mechanism to make sure the risk is mitigated. We call them as milestone meetings or a pre-IND meeting. Before we submitted an IND to FDA, we went ahead and submitted a brief document on all the things that we have done, all the explanations on how the discovery was done, how the non-clinical studies were done, and what is the clinical trials protocol that we are planning to do, and also all the quality parameters like a characterization, the stability of the molecule, everything. We gave a small brief to FDA to read through it and then give their advice on it. But the thing to note here is it's just a pre-IND meeting. It doesn't mean the molecule is getting approved or rejected. Because in these meetings, FDA doesn't get to review all the data. We are only providing an overview or a snapshot of our work. At the same time, it is not necessary that you agree to all the recommendations that the agency is providing you, because these meetings are not binding and it's just to seek out the agency's advice in case we missed something major. There is a whole menu of agencies meetings like type A, type B, type C just in US FDA and many other in other bigger agencies. Tell me in the comments if you want a full episode decoding these meetings to use and I'll make it. So, what does the submission itself actually look like? Under the standard guidelines of ICH, there is a module M4. Every submission is built as per Common Technical Document, or we call it as CTD. Before, when we submit it in the paper, so it is called as CTD. Now people, since it is a digital, we call it as eCTD, but there is no difference at all. It has 5 modules. Module 1, which is an administrative module, it has forms, cover letters and region specific paperwork. In module 2, summaries, the high level overview of everything you have done. In module 3 is the quality information or the CMC information, how drug is made, how drug is controlled, both in the drug substance stage and also drug product stage. And in module 4, you capture all the non-clinical trial details. We saw it in the last episode. I hope you remembered and watched it. In module 5, we give the clinical details, the human study reports, the investigators, and how it is going to be conducted. Let me take you back to before the Pharma went digital. We didn't click submit, we printed it. I once printed 17 copies of a particular submission to FDA, separating pages, formatting, checking every single folder, getting them notarized and shipping them. The biggest fear that never left me, what if these packages get lost? Months of work, an entire program is sitting in the back of a van. Before ICH, every country wanted a different structure as well. So you did that agony again and again. Now here's the common skeleton that we are filling in electronically. Same science and fraction of the pain. Once the FDA receives your IND, you must wait 30 days before dosing anyone. But let's say the FDA does not send you an approval. There is no approval letter from the FDA. If they say nothing and 30 days pass, what do you do? As per FDA guidelines, your IND is in effect and you may proceed. The silence is the green light. However, FDA will make sure to come back within the stipulated time or little after, and when they do, we may get 3 types of responses. 1, study is approved and you may proceed. There is no hold, it's clear start. Second is a partial clinical hold. You can start, but a part is restricted. Maybe a specific dose group or a specific patient population, is paused until you supply more information. Third is a clinical hold. Nothing starts until you resolve their comments. During those 30 days, FDA can also simply ask for more information. So you just provide it and get that approval. A hold, by the way, isn't a death sentence. You submit a complete response and it can be lifted. Even with a clean, you may proceed. You are usually looking at around 6 months of time before you can dose the first human. It's mostly because ethics committee approval, trial site setups, and patient recruitment. All this takes a long time, and the FDA can step in any time before you dose. The scrutiny never really switches off. So that's the milestone, the application, the meeting, the 5-module backbone, and the quiet 30-day green light leads to a molecule finally enters into a human. In the next episode, I'll open the submission up and show you what exactly or the details goes into the IND for FDA, the actual contents that we put forth for FDA to review. If you want the real insider view of the drug development, like and subscribe to my channel and share this with someone who would see it. I'm your host, Jude Stephen. I'll see you in the next one.